Hey guys, it's your Modern Humans here, and today we are bringing you our very first game review.
To launch our series of game reviews, we're starting by comparing the two main competitors in Battle Royale, Fortnite and PUBG.
And please keep in mind that we're only doing a review of Battle Royale mode, but we may do a review of Save the World if we get enough requests for it.
For all our reviews in the future, we will be making several different categories, one of which will always be gameplay, then maps, and campaign, both if applicable. Then we will do a section on something about the game that is unique to it. Like, for example, we'll be doing cosmetics as our unique one here. We will review each section on a scale of 1 to 10, and we will average all of those together and come out with a letter grade, like A or B minus.
We're going to try to remain as unbiased as possible when reviewing this game, as both me and Shrewdmass are big PUBG fans.
So without further ado, let us begin our very first review of Fortnite. The gameplay in Fortnite is very fun and difficult to master. If you are familiar with FPS games, then this isn't going to be much of a challenge as the other games you play, like say COD or Battlefield. You start off on a flying bus with 90 to 100 other players. You fly over a 2 by 2 kilometer island with different locations and houses scattered throughout. You jump out of the bus and skydive down. You can land wherever you want as long as it's within range of your bus's flight path. When you land, there is loot inside of the houses. Then this can vary from guns to shield potions, ammo, building materials, or traps you can build. For the entire time, there's a circle, or as it's called in Fortnite, the storm, that's closing in on you. If you are out in the storm, you take damage. 1 point of damage every second for the first circle, 2 for the second one, 4 for the next, and so on. You progress through the game, killing people and taking their loot, the last person standing. The gun system is classified by rarity, gray being the worst and yellow being the best. The different guns include assault rifles, SMGs, which are strangely separated between suppressed SMGs and tactical SMGs, sniper, which are separated by bolt action and semi-automatic snipers, which is weird because those are basically the same thing, shotguns, separated between pump, heavy, and tactical shotguns, and everything in between. One weird thing in this game is that you can't zoom in. Everything's hipfire. And I get it with the shotguns and SMGs, but the assault rifle don't have scopes. An assault rifle with a scope is a whole different weapon from a normal assault rifle. But really you don't need a scope, seeing as you can snipe someone from across the hill with a standard assault rifle. Yes, the one that's only hipfire. You can snipe with it. You can find things other than guns as well though, such as the standard things, like bandages or medkits. But Fortnite also has shield potions. There are small ones which come in packs of 3 and restore 25% of your health each. But you can only use them up to 50%. Weird choice, but not too bad. Big shield potion is just 1, and it restores 50% of your shields. And then there's the slurp juice, which in my opinion is completely useless. I guess they were trying to copy the painkillers from PUBG, but it really just doesn't work as well. At least painkillers give you a movement boost. In Fortnite, they just slowly restore your shields and health over time, which isn't as useful in a fight, because it only goes up to 25 shields. I can see the point of maybe it went up to 50, but 25 is just a bit too small. And then there's the chug jug. It restores 100% of your shields and health, but takes 15 seconds to down, which isn't good if you're in the middle of a... But now let's talk about one of Fortnite's unique mechanics, building. The building mechanics in this game are pretty smooth, but this could be one of the only learning curves that Fortnite has. Fortnite's building includes walls, floors, stairs, and little pyramidic roof thingies. They can be built out of 3 things, wood, bricks, or metal, all of which you can pick up off the ground or mine from their respective sources. Wood is the weakest. You get it from cutting down trees or wooden houses, and you can use it to make a quick escape. Or if you don't want to waste pressure, more sturdy materials like metal or bricks. Speaking of bricks, they are the second most sturdy, and you should probably use them to construct temporary walls if someone is shooting at you. You can get it from mining the sides of some buildings or by mining rocks. Metal is the rarest and most sturdy material. You can get it from mining metal buildings, usually factories like at Loot Lake or Flush Factory. Or you can mine out the metal supports of substructures, or cars that are scattered throughout the map. You should probably use metal to build your endgame base when you're close to the final circle and everyone's digging in. You can also find traps in buildings, which range from spikes or launch pads that eject you into the air. Those aren't really traps, but still. These work well enough, and you can put these in your endgame base to prevent people from coming in while you exchange fire with someone else. Or what people usually do as well is hide these in random houses, and when people go in to loot them, they get killed. The actual game mechanic though is a good addition, and makes it. So in conclusion, the gameplay is all around solid. Not great, solid. Some weird choices and flaws hold this game back from being great though. So the gameplay gets a 7.5. I'll be doing the next section, which is for Fortnite. The game runs pretty smoothly on Jack's PC, GTX 970, but that's probably to be expected. Truth be told, this game could probably do 60 FPS on high with 1050 Ti. I have an i3 with GTX 1060, and I run it with 90 FPS on high, so in turn, this game isn't all that demanding. The game has a cartoony look, contrary to its main competitor PUBG. Some people will find this charming or cute, but if you're looking for a realistic looking game, then this is... Fortnite runs at 1440p 60 FPS on average for the Xbox, a very respectable resolution and frame rate. The same for the PS4 Pro, except 1080p instead of 1440p. On a normal Xbox One, it can be anywhere from 800 to 900p. From what we've gathered, with frame rates usually holding at 60. Sometimes dropping down to 50 or 40 FPS on random occasions though, never for that long. The PS4, like base model, runs it at 900p on average, also with 60 FPS. All of the above resolutions are on average. They can dip above or below, but the above resolutions are usually what they hold at. Overall, the performance is very respectable and can run smoothly on all consoles, and doesn't require much to run well on PC. Overall, performance gets an 8.
The map in Fortnite is 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers long, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, down in the comments section below. It's small, so it makes for a fast-paced action, as the enemy would be around every corner. There are a bunch of major sites where you can land that have names, usually that have the best loot. We'll go from top down. At the very top, at the north of the map, is 800 acres, a farm with barns and haystacks scattered throughout, with one house at the very north of the site. At the left, top left, is a junction, a junkyard that usually goes unlooted because it is so remotely located. So the storm will probably hit it first. Right to its south is Haunted Hills, a location that's supposed to be a graveyard. It's one of the smaller locations, like Junk Junction, but again, people don't go there often. Right next to it is Pleasant Park, to the east. One of the bigger locations on the map is a big magnet for players, along with other locations that we'll get to later. It's basically a small town with a big center. Then to the east is arguably the most noticeable thing on the map, Loot Lake. First thing you see coming from Pleasant Park is a factory in a small valley heading to a blue lake, to the lake. This is the main part of Loot Lake. The smaller, more coveted location is the house in the middle of the lake, as it has the highest chance of good loot in the whole map. Then if you continue east, you'll notice Tomato Town. It's a small location, but it has a good chance to drop good loot. Then, all the way east is Wailing Woods. It's a big forest with a house surrounded by a hedge and maze in the middle. Sometimes I've been there, but it hasn't any good loot. I found chests once, but that's it. Just to the south of that is Lonely Lodge. True to its name, nobody goes there that often, and from my experience playing, it is a big tower and a few houses. But if you need to get away from somewhere else is going, go to Lonely Lodge. Then, to the west is Dusty Depot, basically 3 big storage buildings. It's kind of popular as a backup to Loot Lake, although there's always people going there. But other than that, it's nothing noteworthy. But Tilted Towers, though. Tilted Towers is one of the most popular landing sites. Basically a big city right to the south of Loot Lake. Tilted Tower is one of the newest additions to the map, and it's basically a fortress. No one in and no one gets out unless there's a mass exodus because of the storm. And even then, a lot of people die at Tilted Towers. I remember when I was doing 20v20, 20v5, 20v20 with 20v20. We decided to launch an attack on Tilted Towers, but the enemy was dug in. We got through, but the cost was of 15 people of our 20-person army. So even an army can't get through Tilted Towers without basically losing anyone. So in short, do not go to Tilted Towers unless you're confident in your abilities. The next thing to go is Snobby Shores. Basically 5 big houses on the western edge of the map. It's alright, but I wouldn't recommend it, as it's usually populated. Southwest of that is Greasy Grove. It's basically Tomato Town except bitter, and instead of a pizza place, it's a burger place. To the west of there is Shifty Shafts. It's a mining complex. From the times I've been there, I've never got very good loot, and it's also right next to Tilted Tower, so I wouldn't recommend it. And then to the west of that is Salty Springs. Again, it's a mini version of Pleasant Park. It's a small town, but a nice alternative if you had to bail out for summer. To the northwest is that Retail Row. Again, is basically a miniature version of Pleasant Park, except smaller, with more cars. Way to the south of that is Moisty Mire, a swampland that has a fair amount of loot and chests, but is so far out of the way I can't recommend you going there. To the east is Fatal Field. It's Anarchy Acres, except less yellow and more buildings. Yes, hello. Lucky Landing is a small area with small, almost Japanese-looking buildings. It's alright. Lucky has some good loot, and it's relatively remote. And next, and the last, is Slush Factory. I think it's a paint factory? Well, I don't really know. There's a factory and there's a paint booth in there. And loot in there is average, not good, not bad. And like Lucky's Landing is relatively remote. Oof, that's it for the map overall. But there's also some other places that are not labeled, but they still have good loot. Like, just random houses, the chest locations, llamas. Yeah. And I think the map is good, but it has a few diverse locations like Junk Junction or Moisty Mire, but then the other locations, they kind of repeat and copy one another, like Pleasant Park, Salty Springs, and Retail Row. And those aren't the only ones, except there are more cases of copying. So overall, the map feels kind of bland, except for some specific areas. So overall, the map got a 6 out of 10. Now Jack will talk about the last section, cosmetics. The cosmetics in this game look cool. They always release different skins for different themes. Like at St. Patrick's Day, they released a leprechaun skin and made a rainbow glider. But the coolest one, in my opinion, is the guy in the suit. He kind of looks like John Wick. Well, he actually looks exactly like John Wick, and everyone calls him John Wick. I like that movie, anyway. But anyways, one minor complaint is that they always release a skin that's cooler than the next one I buy every few weeks, which, I mean, that's good for Epic Games because everyone wants to keep buying it, but it's kind of positive and negative that you get a cool new skin, but then you get your money sucked out of you every few weeks because you want to get a new one. But the skins are top notch. Epic have outdone themselves. Now to buy these skins, you have to pay real world money though, a currency called V-Bucks, and then there's also giveaways and stuff that you can get, like Twitch Prime. You can get free skins with Twitch Prime. You can earn small amounts of V-Bucks by doing in-game quests, but to get the in-game quests, you have to pay real money. But to get a skin you want, it would take months to accumulate enough V-Bucks to be able to afford a skin. So instead, you have to buy V-Bucks for 100 every dollar, but you can't pay for it with the $1. You have to either pay 10, 25, 60, or $100 for V-Bucks. So you can get some bonus V-Bucks as well if you buy anything more expensive than the $10 package. Like 100 V-Bucks gives you 10,000 V-Bucks. $100 gives you 10,000 V-Bucks plus like 3,000, like extra. But I think it's worth it. And this is a free-to-play game, and it's acceptable that they have to put cosmetics in it because otherwise Fortnite would have no revenue because it's a free game, and it's not like it's affecting any gameplay. And yeah, and I agree, the sun skins look awesome, and skin and cosmetics gets an 8.5. Well guys, that'll do it. This has been a very fun first review.
So now you may be wondering what a final grade for Fortnite Battle Royale.
After going everything we talked about and considering all the different factors, we have decided that Fortnite gets an A-.
Thank you guys so much for watching our very first review. And our next review is going to be on Fortnite's main PlayerUnknown's
We hope you enjoyed our review of Fortnite Battle Royale. And as always, leave a like below if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time on Your Modern Humans. Well guys, that'll do it. This has been a very fun first review.
So now you may be wondering what a final grade for Fortnite Battle Royale.
After going everything